right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our session today. My name is DeMarco White, and I work for the House of Blues Music Forward Foundation. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Music Forward is a nonprofit inside of the House of Blues and Live Nation family that has one mission, which is diversify the music industry. And the way we do that is by providing you all with career development programming. So whether you're an artist or whether you're looking to be in the music industry on the other side, Music Forward is the place for you to be. Today's conversation will focus on how to market your music or market an artist's music using digital platforms. And so I'll be here to take you through that. And then we'll hear from one of our special guests and our resident artist, Nick Henderson, later on, who will share a little bit about his experience as an artist and being able to market his music on different platforms. So I'm going to share a presentation with you all. Awesome. Cool. So as you know, and as I just said, Music Forward has a myriad of opportunities for you all to engage in. We've got panels that are happening on Thursdays at 3 o'clock. We've got artist development workshops that are happening on Thursdays at 3 o'clock as well. The panels actually are taking place on Tuesdays. And then we've got our career development workshops happening on Wednesdays at 3. And all that will be shared with you all later. But I'm happy to get this presentation started. So our agenda today, is it possible to make the slide bigger? Yeah. Our agenda for today is that we're going to start with an icebreaker. I think it's important that even though we're in this virtual space, that I'm able to see you all, but also learn a little bit more about you. We're going to break down the 7 truths of music marketing today, and then we're also going to build and strategize a marketing plan. I think it's important for you all to be able to see a marketing plan, but then also know how to use it so that you can share that whether you're an artist or whether you're a young professional, you're able to utilize this resource in your career. And then we're going to hear from an artist. I mentioned earlier that we've got our resident artist, Nick Henderson, joining us. And so you're going to be able to hear from an artist who actually has experience putting a marketing plan together and some of the successes and challenges that they have had. And then lastly, we'll end with a Q&A and an opportunity for you all to ask me questions about today's presentation, but also to ask questions of our artists. In today's session, we'll explore the importance of innovation in identifying and reaching audiences to share music and build a fan base. So firstly, with our icebreaker, I want to hear from you all in our chat. What is your favorite digital platform to use? Whether it be social media, Twitter, Facebook, is it Spotify, YouTube, is it TikTok? What platforms are you all out there using today? Cool, I see Instagram coming up, YouTube, we got a lot of YouTube, Spotify and Instagram, great, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, still learning to get into Twitch, so thank you for that. Discord is a new one that I'm hearing, Apple Music, all right, cool. All right, I see a lot coming in, a lot of Spotify coming in, a lot of TikTok. I'm curious for you all, what was the last song that you listened to? Let's go ahead and enter some of those into the chat as well. So the last song you listened to, Dynamite by BTS. I actually just listened to that song on my way here. Okay, some Van Halen fans here. Giveon just released some new music today. I see Brandy coming up. All right, AFI, that's a throwback. All right, Tupac, some good music going on in here. All right, SZA, Hit Different, good song. Cool. And then last question I have for you all is, what concert are you looking forward to seeing the most when live shows open back up? BTS, Travis Scott, IKD, Chris Brown, Blackpink, Post Malone. A lot of these people are new to me. Billie Eilish, I see a lot of Blackpink going on. Someone says, I don't know. Okay, SZA and Willow Smith, hopefully. All right, does Eurovision count? I'm not sure if that's something that's gonna happen live, but I think that it can make it happen. Okay, Mac DeMarco. Drake. All right, we got some good things going. So again, I encourage you all to chat and network with each other. You see that you all have a lot of different similarities going on in the chat. So feel free to connect with each other. I think a big part of being a part of the music industry is being able to connect and network. So let's get into today's session, right? What is digital marketing specifically? It's develop strategies and tactics to market or sell a product, such as your brand, music, or any type of merchandise, right? And so there are seven truths that we know that are related to music marketing, right? One is marketing your music is necessary and doesn't have to be difficult, right? There are so many different resources out there that allow you to market your music on so many different platforms. And there are also resources and apps that distribute it for you, right? And so we'll go over some of those resources today. But again, this marketing does not have to be as difficult as we know it wants to be. Two, music marketing is about raising awareness and convincing people to give it a try, right? You're always going to be marketing your music, right? And the overall goal of it is to say, hey, this is what I have, and I'm going to convince you to be a part of it, to listen to it, to engage in it, right? And so I think it's important that when you are marketing your music and you're raising awareness, that you're intentional. You're intentional on the audience that you are serving. You are intentional about the product that you are creating, and that you are ready to sort of share it with the world. Three, marketing should begin as soon as your product is good enough to promote. And so what I'll say about this is if you are truly not invested in whether you are promoting a song, whether you're promoting on behalf of an artist, that you don't think the product is ready, then don't share it, right? Because once you share it, it is out in the world and you can't take it back. So you want to make sure that your product, your music, your brand is ready to share before you share it with anyone. And know the minute that you take it to your friend's house, the minute that you take it over for your brother to hear or your mother to hear, that is when the marketing has began. And that is when comments and commentary are being subjected to that. So you want to make sure that it's ready and that you are in love with the product that you're sharing. Four is you need a unique selling point to make yourself memorable, right? A USP is what we call it in the industry. And there are different things that can be a unique selling point, right? Your personality is a unique selling point. Who you are and what you bring to the table is a unique selling point. I think also the cause that your music may be attached to, if it's attached to a charity, if it's attached to something that is a foundation, that is a unique selling point, right? The story behind the music, behind the song is a unique selling point. So when you're thinking about putting out a product or you're thinking about putting out music, think to yourself, why would someone listen to this? How can I market this so that I am advertising to a specific audience, a specific seller? Number five is that marketing is an ongoing process. It never stops. Your product, your music, your artists will always be evolving and resources will always be growing and coming out there. Just in the chat earlier, what we saw was so many people like different platforms to work on, right? So many people liked different songs that they were listening to, had different concerts that they wanted to attend. So we know that the consumer is always changing. So marketing is an ongoing process. Therefore, you need to be ahead and thinking, what are the biggest changes out there in this market? What does my audience want to see? How can I change or shift my strategies so that I am catering to my specific audience and fan base? Number six is knowing your target audience and getting specific. This one is extremely important. It's really all about knowing who you're trying to target, and knowing your audience, knowing the age of your audience, knowing where they live, what platforms they're listening to your music on, how often they're listening to your music. And the more that you begin to know your audience, then you can then look at different analytics that allow you to create marketing strategies around that. And number seven is marketing is a two-way street, right? And so you want to be able to engage with your fans, engage with your audience, engage with your consumer as much as they are engaging with you. And to be specific, if I release a song on Instagram, and I've got people who are commenting, who are saying, this is great, I love this song. When's the album coming out? I want to be able to like those comments. I want to be able to respond to those comments. I want my audience to know that I am engaging with them just as much as they're engaging with me. And those are what we know to be true about music marketing. And you'll see all 7 of these truths weaved in through today's presentation. And you'll even hear again about Nick Henderson, who is our resident artist today, talking a little bit about it as well. Next, I want to sort of dive deep into our social media platforms, right? And as we know, social media can be used to build your brand in all possible ways. And artists have the opportunity to engage people all over the world just with the click of a button. And so the important thing to know when you are creating a marketing strategy is that you are creating a strategy that's going where your audience is, right? So these different platforms engage different types of people, and it's important for you all to know what types of people are engaging on these different platforms. We can see at a quick glance that Facebook is an older demographic, right? It's age 25 to 54. It's a space where you can talk about upcoming shows, album release info, and share videos, right? But again, you have to think, is my target audience utilizing Facebook in the way I want them to engage with my music or to engage with my brand or product? We see Twitter, again, still skewing to a higher demographic of age, 25 to 49. And we know Twitter is more of a platform for conversations, right? So we're sharing GIFs on Twitter, we're retweeting from others, we're getting our news from Twitter. So thinking about maybe if I've got a press release on an artist, Twitter is the platform to share that on, because again, it's about news updates and really about having conversations with fans and audiences. And then Instagram, we see it skews lower in terms of 18 to 49. Majority of you all put Instagram as a platform that you are utilizing. So we know that Instagram is huge when it comes to music. It's huge when it comes to knowing more about that artist. So when building a marketing strategy, you're thinking to yourself, how can I make my artist more relatable? How can I make my brand and product more relatable, right? Instagram is the place for that because it's about lifestyles. It's about showing photos and videos and promoting your images and really being able to share your story through images and videos. So it's really a good platform to be tactful on what you are sharing. There's also YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And a lot of you in our chat today put in TikTok, which is a growing platform. And so we know that TikTok is a 13 to 24 age demographic for that platform. So it's a very small window for age, but we know it's about challenges and duets, music and dance videos, reenactments. I think TikTok's really the platform for you to be able to engage with your audience in a fun and unique way, right? But again, paying attention to, if my audience skews out of 13 to 24, let's say as an artist, my audience more is about that 25 to 49 range, is TikTok the best platform for me to market my music on? We've got YouTube, which is aging 16 to 49. We know it's a huge platform for music videos, vlogs, and tutorials, and personally created and curated playlists. So again, when I'm sharing my music or sharing that new music video, am I going to share it on TikTok or am I going to share it on LinkedIn, on YouTube? And again, how am I engaging, right? Remember our 7 truths of marketing? How am I engaging my YouTube followers when sharing videos and whatnot? And then lastly, LinkedIn skews a lot older, from 25 to 49. And we know it's really about a professional space to be able to grow your career in that way. So for those of you on the call today looking to be a music marketer, looking to be a marketing strategist, right? LinkedIn is a really good space for you to be able to network, learn more about that career, and also be able to develop your professional brand on that platform too. So again, there's a myriad of digital platforms for you all to use. But again, knowing your audience, and knowing your artist, and having a really good strategy in what you're trying to accomplish is important. And that will lead you to what platforms you want to utilize to illustrate your music, your product, or whatever it might be. So throughout this conversation and throughout and throughout creating a marketing strategy, the most important thing that you are going to hear are surrounding analytics, right? Analytics allow you to track success as well as test and experience new ways to market your music. So some analytics that are important for artists and marketing strategists are age of the listener. How old is my demographic, right? Where are they listening to my music? What is the gender of the listener, right? What are the amount of shares? How many times am I seeing my fans who are dedicated to my music, to my product, my brand, sharing it so that I'm growing my fan base in that way? How much time are they spending on my website page? How much time are they spending listening to the song? Are they just listening to it for a second and then clicking out, or are they listening to it all the way through? These are important analytics that are going to influence not only the way that you strategize in marketing, but also who you are as a professional and who you are as an artist, right? You might switch up things if you feel like, hey, this is not hitting as well as this other song hit, so let me see how I can shift. But again, looking at data in real time can be essential to assessing the impact of your decisions, period, right? So if I post a video last week and I look at the analytics this week, I can then see, oh, that song didn't do so well, or that video didn't do so well. So as I continue to create the album, or as I continue to create content that allows me to promote this album, I know what I need to switch up on based off of real-time analytics. And all the platforms that we've shared previously have what we call on the back end analytics to share. So anytime you are on Spotify as an artist, there's Spotify for Artists. If you have an artist profile or a public figure profile on Instagram, it shows you your analytics and insights on all the different posts. So it's important to be paying attention to those, because those could only help you grow, and they will influence your strategy indefinitely. So what we're going to do today, and I'm going to share this link in the chat now, is we're going to build an actual marketing plan. I'm going to share with you all what a marketing plan actually looks like, and we're going to walk through it together using Lil Nas X as an example. And then again, we're going to hear later from Nick, who's going to walk us through his marketing plan that he created when he was a young artist and now has grown. So I'm going to give everyone time to click on that link that we are going to put in the chat now. And so clicking on this link to tell you all a little bit more, it's a part of our industry insights page. And so Music For It has built a bank of resources for you all to utilize throughout your entire lives. And so if you're looking to build a marketing strategy, this resource in this chat here, you click on it, you can download it to your computer or your phone, and it's a fillable PDF. So you can use it over and over and over again to help you boost, whether you're working with the artist, whether you're working on your own marketing strategy. This is definitely a resource that I would encourage you all to utilize. So today we're going to build a marketing strategy for Lil Nas X, right? So Lil Nas X is performing at the Forum in Inglewood, California on November 21st. And what we're going to do is all of us on this call are Lil Nas X fans and marketing strategists. So we are all part of his team, and we're going to help him build a marketing strategy. In the chat now, just sort of say I am or I'm not in the chat. I'm curious of how many of you are fans of Lil Nas X. It could be no one. That would be very interesting. Okay. I am not. All right, cool. That's good to know. We're getting a lot of people who have not heard Lil Nas X, so I'm going to show you the world that he has created for us today. So in this show today, when we're building a marketing strategy, there are 4 huge components for us to know, right? We want to know the show details, the promotional outlets, the promotional materials, and who was our audience. So for example, show details, we've already got some of those, right? We know that Lil Nas X is performing on November 21st. He is performing at 7 o'clock and at the Forum in Inglewood. And we'll say the price of the ticket is $32, right? promotional outlets. We know that Lil Nas X has been promoting and been very inclusive of not only all genders, but specific to the LGBTQ plus community. So that we know is really a strong part of his audience. We also know that the typical age for someone listening to Lil Nas X might be the same as that age in the Instagram demographics, which is that maybe 25 to 49-year-old, or even skewing a little younger to 13 to 22. But I'm seeing in our chat that a lot of us are not fans of him, so his age demographic might be skewing a little older. When thinking about promotional materials, you want to think about what makes the most sense for you. Here, there are a lot of options, right? But you might not have the budget to produce all of these options right here, right? Or you sometimes, when working with an independent artist, you would be the only person working on the marketing side. So you might not have time or capacity to build all these things. So think about, how can I work smarter and not harder? So for this Lil Nas X show, we know that we're in a virtual space. We know that a lot of people are online, so we're going to stick to focusing on creating marketing materials that are online and that are being used on the different social platforms. And again, number 4 is about who our audience is. And you have an online presence and you have an offline presence, right? So we know that online we'll be using Instagram and Facebook and having ads on Spotify and maybe doing a TikTok engagement, right? Or even doing a radio spot. But also in an offline space, what does that mean? As Lil Nas X, are we gonna have him go to Ralph's and do a surprise performance outside? Are we gonna have him come on radio and do a little ad or do a contest? So think about, what are the different unique spaces, both online and offline, that you can utilize. In our chat, let me hear, what are some offline spaces that we think that we can utilize to help Lil Nas X bring audience members to his show? Schools, great, that's really good. So some school concerts. Billboards are a really good way to market when you're driving down the road and you see Lil Nas X's face. That might get you out. So I like that. Even popping up at schools, that's his age demographic. A radio interview is a perfect example of reaching his audience, right? Everyone's listening to the radio. I'm getting people who could drive to the concert. TV advertising is also a good way. There'll be an online space for us to be able to market this show. So again, just to reiterate, know the details of your show, of your performance, of what you're trying to accomplish. Know the different promotional outlets that your audience is using. And again, be cognizant of the promotional materials that you use. You want to be, when you are marketing and when you are marketing with intention, you'll only see results, right? And to your audience, it's about knowing where they are. So if majority of them are online, that's where you need to be. If the majority of them are offline, that's where you need to be. And sometimes there'll be a hybrid where you're seeing an equal balance of audience members, both online and offline. And so that's where you will want to be. And so we're gonna skip our put it together part now, because actually we're gonna have Nick Henderson come out, who is going to share with us sort of how he put it together. So Nick is the music industry's best kept secret. Nick has been a part of the Music Forward team as an artist since 2016, I believe it is. And now he is working for the organization as our program coordinator in Chicago. But Nick is a multi-talented artist. He's a singer, songwriter, dancer, actor, content creator, an influencer. He's also the host of Music Forward Spotlight. He has had really great experience and buzz, specifically in Chicago, but also nationally, where he's been able to do a series of performances at Wrigleyville, Allstate Arena, the House of Blues, BET Black Women's Expo. So Nick has been working very hard as an artist, and I want to bring him on screen. So Nick, if you could unmute yourself and turn on your video. Let's see.
Hello.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm glad that you can join us today.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Hello, everyone.
Yes, I'm loving this aqua denim type feel we got going on today.
Thank you. You know, I honestly don't know what color this is. I just call it blue.
Yeah. Yes, that's great. Nick, I want to, if we could pull back, is it possible to pull back up that presentation so that Nick and I can go through a couple more slides? But Nick, we brought you on because we really want to focus on how you've been able to create strategy in your marketing plan. Give me 1 second. Is it possible to pull the presentation back up? Awesome, great. So Nick, are you seeing our screen here?
Yes, I see it.
So take us through this moment here. You were a part of our Bringing Down the House class, which is our artist performance pathway, where you were performing at the House of Blues, and you put together a marketing strategy back in 2016. And what we're going to do in this conversation is I want you to walk us not only through this marketing strategy here, where you were in your career then, but we're going to continue to talk about how you've been able to grow. So I'll let you take it away.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to say this picture of me, I look like a baby. Like no facial hair, just, you know, a kid with a dream. But just those of you who aren't familiar with Music Forward and specifically this particular showcase, that it's like a really big annual event that happens where artists in each city, they apply to be a part of this artist intensive. And it's a 4-week program where you go through artist development. And then at the end of it, you perform at the House of Blues. So I applied and I was selected. So that process was, it was rigorous, but it was so just informative, insightful, and also just fun. And here we have a marketing plan that we ended up completing. And honestly, when I tell you guys, I kid you not, it was something that I really had zero prior knowledge of, but it's helped me in so many areas moving forward. Music Forward, see what I did there? It's helped me so much along the way. So as you just see here, we listed out just all of the, you know, logistics of the show and specific to me and my artistry. So at the time, I was still figuring out my sound, figuring out just like who my audience was. I wasn't really, you know, keen on just like analytics and data and how to track that at this point. So I was really just kind of like, all right, I mean, I make dance, pop, R&B music. So I want everybody to enjoy it because I enjoy it. So I just listed like, you know, all ages, you know, obviously male and female. I want everyone to experience my artistry, experience my music. So because the show was in Chicago, I was primarily, you know, focused on marketing to Chicago. And, you know, one of the cool factors here, number 3, you have promotional materials. And at that time, like, I just never really found it necessary to like come up with promotional material. So this time, like, it challenged me to create flyers. So I had some flyers created that I literally, you know, had printed out, and I would take it to like a local coffee shop. I would take it to like my college at the time that I was attending. And also I created like a promo video, and I utilized social media as, you know, platforms to promote. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever it was, I was utilizing it just to really just promote the show, but also myself, and, you know, kind of get people interested. And I kid you not, once again, this has been a great template for just how I've gone on to experience some really great moments in my career after this. And I've kind of, you know, used this even recently with just kind of figuring out ways to, you know, navigate just this current landscape, which we're all navigating within, you know, this virtual world and, you know, this horrid COVID, you know, landscape. So, yeah, I don't want to keep rambling, but back to you in the studio.
No, it's all good information that you're sharing. And something that I think why I wanted to bring you in is because you've been able to not only create this marketing strategy as a young artist 2016, but you've been utilizing it in your career now. And so what I want to do is I want to walk through some of this social media, right? And so you've been able to use this strategy both online and offline, but also been very, again, intentional in the way that you market. And what we're seeing on the screen here is a couple of screenshots from your Instagram that have a lot that from 2016, 2018, and now 2020. And we see that there's been a gradual increase, not only in the followers that you've been able to gain through strategic marketing, but also the engagement, right? That one of the 7 truths of marketing is being able to, that marketing is a two-way street, and you want to engage your audience just as much as they're engaging with you. So talk to us about the strategy on how you were able to grow your following and grow your engagement.
Yeah, DeMarco, it's been quite the journey trying to navigate social media. And, I am a millennial, borderline Gen Zer. It's weird. I was born in 96, so still don't know where I quite fall. But born into a generation where this is literally, our life. Social media is just second nature for us. It's just something that is not just social, but it's also a platform to, promote yourself. So I've always been involved in the arts, literally since I was a kid. And, in my teenage years, that's when I started to take it seriously. And I was primarily focused on dance. So I was a dancer and also acting. So I've done some great things like within acting. So I was on a couple shows and a couple commercials, and my audience at the time was used to seeing me in that space. So when I popped up, was like, yo, surprise, I sing and I'm going to be a singer now. Like, it was really, difficult getting my audience engaged with this transition. So the first photo back in 2016, I was just becoming more cognizant of, content and just understanding that I want my audience to really take me seriously and understand that this is a hard pivot that I'm taking, and I want you to come along for the journey. And at that time, when I tell you getting 80 likes, 100 likes, it was I thought I made it. I thought I arrived. I'm famous. I need to have brunch with Beyonce and Jay-Z because I'm clearly on their level. And at that time, I was just like, okay, cool. This is great because at the end of the day, no one owes you, engaging in, your content. So I was just seeing how I was as I became more consistent with my content, uploading quality photos and essentially focusing in on sharing what I do, people started to, kind of take more interest, and just kept doing that. Honestly, I didn't really change anything as far as methods. I was just really focusing in on just quality content, and people really started to enjoy it. And just year after year, I would gain hundreds of followers, and just gradually with each post, I would see more people interacting with the post, whether it be commenting, likes, sharing it to their stories. So I'm nowhere, near crazy follower status, but I take pride in knowing that I set out to engage people in my audience, and I can look back and see okay, yeah, I've seen the growth and the development. So I'm still working at that, utilizing strategic plans such as a marketing plan at appropriate times, and it's been super beneficial to this day.
How have you specifically, how were you able to know that your audience had shifted, right? You mentioned earlier that from going from acting and then going into really taking singing and being a musical artist seriously, you saw an increase in your followers, but did you see a change in the audience that you were targeting, right? Whether it be age, gender, genre of music that they listen to. When you were putting it into your strategy in 2016, you were marketing directly to Chicago. How has your audience shifted since you've changed sort of how the content that you produce?
Yeah, it's interesting to see how your audience can shift so unconsciously, and you don't really realize it until you like I stated before, become invested in the data and the analytics and insights of your audience. And I start to see like I was engaging more artists, I was engaging more producers, you know, people who were kind of within that same, you know, sector as far as music. So I was engaging more, you know, music peers. And then also I was just seeing like, oh, I'm starting to really engage people who just love discovering new artists and discovering new music. And that became very evident based upon just literally people commenting on my under something, just like, hey, just found you on Instagram, love your content, love your music, love this. And that kind of put me in the you know, in the mindset of like, oh, let me actually, you know, follow this, because there are people that are outside of Chicago now who are finding my page, who are engaging with me. Even recently, I had someone like DM me from like Dubai, and it was just like, hey, randomly came across your page, checked out your music, love your music, keep it up. I was like, huh? Like, and that's the power of social media, and also the power of hashtags. That I didn't at first utilize hashtags. I was like, first of all, who wants to sit here and write all these hashtags? Like, I barely want to write a caption. Like, but I was like, let me get in the mindset of working with an algorithm. And I know that we'll probably discuss some challenges, because as we all know, algorithms are always changing. So I have a lot to say about that. But yeah, I absolutely saw the growth and the shift, and the more, and like I said before, the more consistent I became, I just saw a group of people just kind of following that journey.
Yeah. So let's transition to talking about your successes and challenges. If we could pull back up that slide, because as an artist, you've had a lot of success, and I think something else I want you to talk about too is being able to gain opportunity by successfully using these digital platforms. So take us through some of your successes that you've had before we dive deep into the challenges.
Yeah, so one of like the most cool moments I've like experienced with like just like social media is just being in a position where people find you and you literally have no idea who they are, and they're interested in booking you for something. So I performed for BET's Black Women's Expo here in Chicago, and they literally just reached out to me, and they emailed me, but they, you know, they stated that they had saw me on Instagram and they really loved my, you know, my music, and because I have like performance videos on my page, and they're like, oh wow, we just love you, we would love to have you. And you know, that's how I booked that. And they even offered to you know, fly me out to Atlanta for their Atlanta show. So it was really cool, and I was just like, wow, this is really rewarding to see, like, you know, the fruits of my labor kind of come to fruition. And that was something that I just kind of keep in my mind, like, all right, even though I'm not doing all of this because every post I want to get booked, or I want to X, Y, and Z, like I just, you know, use that as inspiration whenever I feel like, oh, like nobody's paying attention or my page isn't growing. It's a gradual build. So did I answer the question? You said success.
That is my question. But it makes me think that's very intriguing to me is that now that we have moved into this quick pandemic space, so I don't know if there's a proper term that we're calling it these days, but that we moved into a space where everyone now is at home or doing more screen time than ever before, where before you were competing with reality, right? With people going to work, people going to shows, or people unplugging, right? And that being an essay thing. Now everything we do is in front of a screen. I'm presenting to you in front of a screen, right? We watch TV, we're watching more TV, we're on Instagram more, we're on Zoom every day and every hour and minute of our lives. Has that shift, with everyone being so glued to their screens, forced you to shift the way that you whether market yourself on screens, or are you producing more content now because you know that everyone's looking? Are you forced to have more of a variety of content because now it's sort of an everyday thing? How has this pandemic shifted the way you market yourself as an artist?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, DeMarco. Like, we've all, you know, had to pivot in some type of, you know, capacity. And, you know, as an artist, it's been extremely, you know, challenging trying to figure out ways to really keep your audience engaged. Like me, I am a performing artist, so most of my following is, gained at shows, and that is like how I really just promote myself, and that's how I make money. So it was just really difficult, having to figure out a way to accomplish all of that and make it fit into this virtual space. So for me personally, at the artist side of me, I decided to take this year as, a year of, just reflection and just kind of planning and strategic, just planning for what's ahead. And in the meantime, I was like, how can I still, keep a presence on social media and kind of keep my audience engaged? So I totally just did something that was kind of a shift for me and a pivot for me. And I decided like, all right, cool. I'm going to focus on, building my business and building, something that's within the realm of music, and it still promotes, me as an artist. But I decided to take this time to really just engage people in a different way. So I just launched a website where I pretty much just like review music, and I do written reviews, and I do vlog reviews like on my Instagram page. So that was a really cool way to kind of keep people engaged, and also to kind of build a new audience and a new following. So it's been challenging because there aren't many opportunities as far as like performance and really effectively engaging people the way that I'm used to. So it's absolutely just challenged me to become more creative. So I think that's how I've been responding to just COVID, just with creativity and thinking outside of the norm of what I normally do.
Yeah, I want to shift focus to some of the challenges that you've had with marketing yourself on these digital platforms. But before we do that, for our audience, we're getting close to our Q&A, and so go ahead and start asking questions in the chat. And then when we get to that section, I'll be able to read those questions. So Nick, you talked earlier about a specific challenge regarding algorithms with the different platforms. So have you been able to overcome this challenge, or what are the tricks that you've learned as an artist that allow you to sort of beat the algorithm, or at least play nice with it?
DeMarco, I have not beat this algorithm. I'm still beefing with it to this day. Like, it is something that is so frustrating because you, as a content curator, you put so much time, energy. Like, people don't realize, like, when I launched like my blog series, when I tell you it literally would take me days to upload one little video, like it would take a day to film it. It would take maybe a day and a half to like edit it, and you post it and boom, like only a fraction of your following actually sees it and engages with it. And it's not because, you're doing something wrong, but it's literally because the algorithm now it's not really in the, it's not really for it's not really for the, how do I say it?
Because I don't want, right? The person,
like
posting.
Yes, it's not really for the user.
For them.
Exactly. Yeah. It's literally, it's become this, just this juggernaut to just make money and to monetize off of people who, for me, like I have a business account. So I know that for business accounts, the algorithm is different because they want you to, pay for ads so you can promote your videos or your pictures. They want you to, literally invest money so they can make money. So what I've done is I have just found a happy medium between like, hey, you know what? When it is the appropriate moment, I will invest and I'll, put a budget behind a certain, thing that I'm trying to promote. And I'll allow that to, just be its thing, and I let that be. But then other things, I just let it be. Like there used to be a time I used to literally obsess over numbers. Like, oh, I didn't get 300 likes on this. Oh God, I'm going to delete it. Like now I'm just like, hey, it is what it is. So any artists out there, or just content curators, or just users who kind of feel the anxiety of, competing against an algorithm, or just kind of maintaining a certain, status, like, just know that social media is not worth your mental health. And that's another thing that I've been focusing on, is balancing mental health, because I feel like social media can often affect that because of our attachment to it. And I know that as an artist, and also maybe as a millennial, like, I have such a attachment to social media that I've been slowly, finding my balance, so that I'm not not enjoying the process. So, yeah.
That's fair. Well, thank you, Nick, so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing with us your successes and your challenges. And I really hope that our audience today got a lot from it. This is a time where if there's any questions for myself or regarding our presentation, regarding Music Forward, or anything for Nick, please ask it at this time in our chat, and I will be able to address it then. Nick, as we wait for questions to come in, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone where we can find you and where we can find your music?
Yes. So you guys can follow me at Henderson Nick _. That's HendersonNick_. That's on Instagram, Twitter. Do people still get on Facebook? I don't really use Facebook, so I won't even share that. And you can check out my music, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, whatever your preferred streamer is, platform, Nick Henderson. And you can check out some of my most recent releases. And I look forward to engaging with you guys. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. But yeah, back to you in the studio, DeMarco.
I think that you're enjoying this setup a lot.
I'm loving this.
Let me ask you this question, because a lot of questions that I get from artists are really about that audience, right? We talked a lot about it in today's presentation. And did you create content and to define your audience? Did you bring yourself to an audience, or did you sort of let the audience come to you and then you sort of just made it happen?
I think that it's a combination of both. I think for me personally, as I stated before, because I've always been in the arts, my social media presence has always been arts based and focused. So those are the type of folks that I attracted. One, just based on like my circle, as we all, like, you have your friends, your family that follow you on social media. And, me and my friends, we're all similar. So I'm friends with a ton of, musicians, artists, rappers, poets. So my circle, even when it was very small, my presence on social media, when it was just literally like all I had was like 400 followers, it was a very, populated circle of creative people. And as I continue to, present myself as an artist and, showcasing what I do, I just kind of acquired a following that I don't like to think of them as fans. I just literally think that they're folks who are interested in, what I'm doing, and they're interested in the journey. I realize that many people in this current landscape, and I feel like maybe even before this landscape, they like to be a part of an artist's journey, to say like, oh, I literally was listening to their music before they blew up. Like I knew them before they were blah, 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 blah. So I know that I have a lot of people who just kind of found their way to me, and they're just engaged due to that. But also too, there were moments where I was seeking out, particular demographics, and you can do that with paid ads. You can literally say like, oh, I want to reach, 13 to 25-year-olds, or I want to reach people in, the Midwest or the West Coast. So there have been very strategic ploys to engage specific groups of people.
We've got a question from Bridget in our audience, and she asked, what do you think of live streaming? As an established artist, whether you're live streaming on Twitch or Instagram Live. How do you feel about it? And is it something that you're utilizing in your own career, or is it something that you try to share?
So, to be honest, I'm sorry. Yeah, to be honest, Twitch is something that I'm still figuring out how to engage with because it's so new to me. I feel old, I'm like, dang, we didn't have this back in my day. So I love platforms that, allow for artists and, content curators to become creative and to, just make engaging just more fun. But for me personally, I haven't utilized many platforms in this live streaming landscape just because just me personally, I'm the type of person, like, if I can't do it at like ultimate quality, then I just won't do it at all. And I know that in order to really ensure a smooth process where everything is just cohesive, it's clean, it's well put together. Sometimes you really have to put a lot of money behind it and also have a team. So I really just right now I don't have time to dive into those things. But I have kind of made a mental note of hey, if this landscape follows us into 2021, I'm absolutely going to explore ways to do some live productions. And that's actually something that I'm kind of working on right now as I record my EP. So.
Look, and I think you said a lot of important things when answering that question. And one of them being about we talked earlier that when you are marketing a product, a song, an artist, you want to make sure it's the best it could possibly be before you share it with your audience. And I think you just shared that right now when you're talking about when I'm producing content, it needs to be of the highest quality. And so if it's not of that caliber, then I'm not putting it out, which I think is an important thing to say as an artist and to keep true to yourself. Something else too is that what we're seeing in this new age of technology and pandemic and artists is that the production value and criteria is shifting a lot. So you can go live on Instagram with just a guitar and that's the way that you perform if that's a part of your aesthetic and part of your brand. We're also seeing that there's a lot of different interfaces that you can use, a lot of different items and tools to use to make the quality of your live stream better. But again, we talked earlier about being at a different space in your marketing, right? So if you don't have a budget for that, right, what is the alternative for you to be able to produce at a certain level, certain caliber? So thank you for sharing that. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but in trying to increase your followings by doing live streams, your followers have to already follow you to see that you're going live, right? So I don't know if live streaming is the first base of really growing your following. Would you agree or disagree or elaborate?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think that it is difficult to, especially if you're an emerging artist, and that's what I consider myself. So I find that it's a very isolated type of situation where you posted on your social media hey, I'm going live. That's only being seen by the people that follow you. Now if you do what I do is this is a little cheat code, so those of you who are artists, curators, whatever, I will text if I know it's something that I really want to get out there. I'll text 10 or 20 people. It depends. I have a list of people. I text them. I say, hey, this Friday, I'm posting X, Y, and Z. Do you mind sharing it to your story, retweeting it or reposting it? And, I get a large amount of people together. Some people in the same, territory as me. So Chicago, and then I have, friends in LA, Atlanta, and I get all these people, on board. And that's how I kind of expand outside of my own demographic. So with live stream, I think that you can do what I just said. You can get people engaged, kind of what we call, pre-COVID, like a street team where you have people out there who are passing out flyers. Like this is the virtual way of doing that, where you enlist people to help you and you kind of cross promote. So I don't think that like creating like a live stream is the first step in like engaging an audience. I think it's just an extension of engaging your audience and potential, new followers.
Yeah, live streams are more like, I think of them more as like private concerts, right? You're only inviting your fan club who know you already because they're guaranteed to show up. I think you also brought up something that is really important is cross promotion, right? And so earlier we talked about the myriad of digital platforms that we could utilize to market ourselves on. And so we know that Instagram is the platform where you can go live on it, and it has the support to allow you to do that. But if I'm an artist and I'm on Twitter or I'm on Facebook, then I'm sharing that I'm going live on Instagram. So that's a new way that I'm bringing new fans to it. I'm now bringing and sort of merging these different demographics, right? Because what we learned earlier is there's a different demographic on Facebook. There's a different demographic on Twitter. So if I'm sharing on those platforms and bringing them over to Instagram, I'm now, again, creating what I said, this private concert of mosh pit of my different audience members. Well, I want to move to close out for today. Is there a piece of advice that you want to share with our audience about being an emerging artist and marketing yourself on these digital platforms?
Absolutely. First of all, DeMarco, you've done such a great job. You're an incredible host, facilitator. You're amazing. I am very much so still in pursuit of my dreams. Like I've been fortunate enough to accomplish a lot, but there's so much that I desire to do. And, sometimes when you're so focused and looking ahead, you really miss out on enjoying and valuing just what is before you. So as a emerging artist, as someone with a dream, I highly encourage you to just really take in the moment and find a balance between, looking toward the future and, really being excited for just everything that you desire to become and desire to accomplish, but also focus in on like having a heart of gratitude as it pertains to like, hey, I'm currently doing what I love to do. I'm currently pursuing what I love, and not getting, sidetracked by comparison or, feeling as if you're not exactly where you desire to be. So I just highly encourage you all. And this is not even just applicable to being an artist or something within entertainment, but I think this is something that can be applied to just how we do life. Sometimes it's best to really just appreciate everything that we have. And I think that's something that like even COVID has really emphasized to me, just really appreciating life as we know it, because it literally can change just like that. And I think the same thing applies just across the board. So just enjoy the process. Don't compare yourself. Like you will get to where it is that you are meant to get to. Work hard. Work smart, and you will absolutely be everything that you desire to be. And I know that sounds so like cliche and like, that's so like motivational speaker. Like, no, like that's real life. It's when you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's inevitable that you're going to get to where you desire to get to. So period.
Thank you, Nick, so much for these wonderful words. Thank you for sharing them with our audience today and great insight from you being an artist. I've truly enjoyed being able to share with our audience today sort of your growth on these digital platforms. And it's been amazing for you to be able to share your successes and challenges with it. And everyone, again, Nick, if you want to chat it into our chat just so that we know where to find you. And also, can you drop the Music Forward link to our programs too? And for those of you who have joined us for the first time, Music Forward has programming weekly. And Nick is actually, he facilitates our artist development pathway. I moderate and facilitate our industry sessions. And so industry sessions happen on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock. These are our virtual panels that talk about different music industry topics. And we've had Live Nation, Pandora, we've had Spotify, we've had Live Nation Urban. So we've had all these different professionals who are coming and giving advice, just like you saw that Nick and I did today. Nick leads our artist development workshops on Thursdays at 3 o'clock. And for those of you looking to get into the industry, behind the scenes, we have our career development workshops. So the slide that I'm sharing today is really how you can access our workshops and sessions. We also have recorded all of them on our YouTube channel. So I encourage you all to go there and look at that. And then again, for that marketing resource that we used earlier, it's a part of the Music Forward Industry Insights page. And so we've got, again, to Nick's point, using hashtags, you can find resources on marketing, social media, how to develop your personal pitch with your resumes. So anything you need to help you grow your career within the industry, we got it. We are the home of helping young people achieve their dreams. And so with that said, thank you all so much for joining us today. And I hope to see you in one of our programs next week. Thank you all so much.